Today on Commander Replay, Game of Thrones Week continues with Varina White Walkers versus Admiral Beckett Brass of the Iron Isles. Find out who wins next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, I'm so thankful for all of my awesome Patreon supporters. As I mentioned yesterday, I am now up over 100 Patreons, which is at least 98 more than I'd ever thought I would have. So thank you to all of you guys, and we have 3 new Patreon supporters in Steve Revis, Frank Ogden, and Nate Pogue. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Game of Thrones Week continues with Varina White Walkers. Take a look at our opening hand. We've got 3 lands. We've got 3 lands, a Crypt Breaker. Alhammarret's Archive is very good in this deck. We'll keep. It's a little bit slow, not a lot of acceleration. Cyclonic Rift, the only removal, though I guess that can solve quite a few problems. So yeah, I think this will work. We will want to catch more lands off the top. This deck is not amazing at staying on top of its land drops. Do have a land tax in here, could probably also use something like a Tithe. That'll bring it to our turn 1. There's a Scarab God, play the Arcane Sanctum, and pass the turn. Ghave does lay down a Soul Warden on their first turn. Those things can gain so much life in a Ghave deck. I am joined by 3 Patreon supporters today. First up, we have Chaotix2075 piloting their Admiral Beckett Brass Iron Isles deck, and it'll be doing piratey things. We got a little glimpse of it last game, and yeah, it's a pirate tribal deck. Now, if they can get the ability going, at the beginning of your end step, gain control of target non-land permanent controlled by a player who was dealt damage by 3 or more pirates this turn. That's a pretty good ability if you can get it triggered. Getting it triggered is not the easiest thing, but once you do, stealing a non-land permanent, yes please. And what could be more piratey? Second up, we have Frodo the Chef 123 piloting Ghave Guru of Spores. And finally, we have GVR playing Riku of 2 Reflections. We draw into not a land, a little bit scary. Play the Irrigated Farmland right here. And we'll get down the Crypt Breaker. Soul Warden will trigger, and we'll pass the turn. Fathom Fleet Captain coming down for the Admiral Beckett Brass opponent. If you control another non-token pirate, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 2/2 black pirate creature token with Menace. And a Psychotrope Thallid coming down. That'll make some Thallids over the course of the game. Riku does have Lightning Greaves in play, by the way. Bringing it back to our turn, there's a 4th land, so play the Fetid Heath. A lot of 1/1s on the board. Do we attack with Crypt Breaker? Nah, probably not. We'll just leave it back. Keep the other 1/1s from attacking, I think. Wait till there's a reason to do so. Forerunner of the Coalition coming into play. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a pirate card, reveal it, shuffle your library, put it on top. Whenever another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. That's pretty good. Opponent's gonna attack with the Fathom Fleet, sending it into us. We're not gonna block. Opponent does not have the mana to pay for the ability, but we will just take the 2 damage. We have the ability to gain some life back with Varina, which is pretty cool. Not something that Black and Dimir decks get to do a lot of, is gain life back easily. So having it out of the command zone is a pretty big deal. Although they are starting to print more black cards with life gain on them, like Kalitas and Haunt of the Hightower is the new one. That will bring it back to our turn. We draw a Wayward Servant. Play the Swamp. Play Varina. Soul Warden will trigger. We'll attack with the Crypt Breaker. Send that into the Riku. That'll trigger the Varina 1 time. Want to make sure we keep hitting land drops. We draw a Nantuko Husk. We can live without the Nantuko Husk, I think. So we'll dump that right into the graveyard, and we'll gain a life. So I really want to hit that next land drop. Hopefully it's untapped, because if we get the Alhammarret's down and attack with both, we'll draw 4 cards and discard 2, and that'll be really good. That should set us up really nicely. Plus, we've already got the Patriarch's Bidding, so we can just loot zombies all day long and not feel bad about it. There's a Captain Lannery Storm, pretty cool little card, and that's going to trigger the Soul Warden and the Forerunner. Lannery Storm going to swing into the Riku and the Fathom Fleet into us. It does have Menace, so we cannot block. Opponent sacrifices their treasure token on Lannery Storm. That'll pump the Lannery Storm, and it looks like they're going to pay for the Fathom Fleet ability. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So they get to make another token, and that triggers the Forerunner again. We go down to 34, and Riku goes to 34. Not a bad little swing, considering it's only, it was opponent's turn 4, and we're just starting turn 5 of the game. They're set up to do even more next turn. Ghave appears to be color locked. They have not found black mana yet, so that looks like it's probably causing an issue for them. Riku coming into play. Yep. Opponent gonna move to equip the boots. Boots are equipped. We did not catch that land we were looking for off the top. That makes me sad. Now what? We can attack and get 2 loot triggers. That'll be a little bit too late. I guess we could play the Scarab God. We'll sit back with the Crypt Breaker. Attack into the Ghave 1 time. Their life is getting a little bit high. That'll trigger the Varina. We draw Rise of the Dark Realms. Let's pitch the Diregraph Colossus. Are we really not going to make this land drop? Is that a thing that's going to happen? Yeah, I guess we're pitching the Diregraph Colossus. Maybe pitch... Well, I guess since we don't have that much to do, pitch the Wayward Servant. Yeah, this deck needs an Armillary Sphere and a Tithe pretty badly. Opponent will take the hit. They go to 42. Play the Diregraph Colossus. Soul Warden will trigger. And we'll pass like that. So, missing a land drop right there. Really didn't want to do that. Alhammeritz was going to be such a sweet play. Pirate opponent is set up to do some damage. Opponent can attack the other two players. That'll trigger the Lannery Storm. Opponents go to 41 and 32. Opponent sacks a treasure and taps some lands. Play a Pirate's Prize, draw 2 cards, and they create a treasure token. Psychotrope Thallid will get a counter on it. It now has 3 counters. They are able to make a Thallid. And this particular one says, pay 1, sacrifice a Saproling, draw a card. Seems like something that they probably want to be doing. Yep, they create the Saproling. They pay the 1, they sack and draw. And there's a land. So finally finding some black mana. You're going to lay down a Deathspore Thallid. So, opponent untap with their Riku, always a scary thing. With Riku, you can basically double any game action, and it can be really scary. Even if all they did is play like Rampant Growths and double them for the next few turns, it's pretty good. Opponent can lay down a Fairy Artisans. That's a good card. That thing can do some stuff. Basically, it makes a token copy of whatever the last creature to enter play was. And opponent can pay the blue and the green to make a copy of it. So they'll have 2 copies of... Yep, opponent gonna pay. So opponent will be able to make 2 copies of whatever the most recent creature to enter play was. And that's also gonna trigger the Soul Warden about 1,000,000 times. Oh, we draw a tap land. That makes me sad. Oh, what are we doing? I'm gonna hold off on the tap land, honestly. See if we can catch one and play it in the second main. I doubt that opponent double blocks with Fairy Artisans to take down our Varina. So I feel okay about that. Send Varina this way... Yeah, maybe we'll just send both of the Ghave. Leave the Crypt Breaker back. Triggers the Varina. Opponent's going to Heroic Intervention. That's fine. Seems a little bit premature right there. So, Varina trigger. We draw 2 not lands. There's a Graveborn Muse. Yeah, I guess we just dump the Graveborn Muse. We'll play the Worn Power Stone. We don't have another creature to dump. Kind of want the rest of these cards. Anguished Unmaking is just too good. Maybe we give up on the Scarab God since that tends to become more valuable later on. We do have Rise of Dark Realms in hand already, so yeah, I guess it'll be the Scarab God. Opponent gonna block both, sure. Play the Fetid Pools, play the Worn Power Stone. Finally getting some mana, and we'll pass like that. Also puts us back up to 37, keeping our life total nice and healthy, though we are pretty open to the Pirate opponent. Pirate opponent gonna spread the damage around. Lannery Storm will trigger, Fathom Fleet will trigger. Opponent sacrifices 2 treasures, they're gonna make another token. Forerunner triggers. Ooh, opponent can play Beckett Brass this turn. No. They need to damage someone with 3 pirates. Opponent's getting very close to the Beckett Brass. Here comes Angrith Minotaur Pirate. Can do +2, deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker and each creature that player controls. Seems pretty good against a Saproling opponent. -3, return target pirate card from your graveyard to your hand. And ultimate, destroy all creatures target opponent controls. Angrath deals damage to that player equal to their total power. Ooh, only gonna do 1 damage each. Ooh, they're gonna kill our Crypt Breaker. Savage. They probably should shoot down the Thallid opponent here. That Soul Warden's gonna get out of hand. Ooh, that's doubling season. Yep. That should get them some focus from the pirate opponent. Brings it back to our turn. There's an Utter End. I think the plan is to just sit on Cyclonic Rift, so we don't get blasted by a lot of things. Maybe we attack into the Angrith one time. Yeah, maybe we don't. Opponent's got a lot of tokens. So attack with both into the Ghave, and Varina will trigger. High Market and Mana Crypt, we definitely want both of those. That means we got to give stuff up. Let's give up the Anguished Unmaking. And I guess Patriarchs. Patriarchs won't be that good with the pirate opponent sitting around. Plus we have the Rise of the Dark Realms anyway. So opponent's just going to take the damage on that. They go down to 31, play the High Market, play the Mana Crypt, and we will pass like that. Yep, opponent going to plus the Angrith on the Saproling opponent. That's going to hurt pretty badly. They lose all 3 creatures. Pirate's Pillage. Discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure token. Okay. Riku thinks about doing something and then doesn't. That is suspect. Commander Sphere for our opponent, sure. Opponent gonna send a couple tokens into the Ghave opponent. Surprised they don't attack harder with all the tokens that they have running around. Though I guess they probably want to keep their Planeswalker protected. Opponent gonna sack some treasures and make more tokens. So Ghave down to 24. Opponent gonna play a Savage Thallid, sure. And that'll make 2 copies with the Fairy Artisans. Opponent gonna crack a Myriad Landscape, sure. The Thallid's getting some counters on them. No attacks from our opponent. Yeah, I would have attacked with the 5/2s. We're wide open. And at the end step, we will overload this Cyclonic Rift. Someone cracked a Commander Sphere. Oh, opponent said they skipped through their attack step. Opponent's going to Wild Ricochet. That'll bounce our stuff too. Not a bad play from our opponent right there. So now everything getting bounced. Opponent will have to discard the hand size. It's pretty rough. Brings it back to our turn. We draw an island. Island is good. Play the island. Play the Mana Crypt. Let's get this Diregraph Colossus down. Sadly, we cannot get both Varina and the Worn Power Stone, so I think it's going to be Varina right here. Still really trying to set up that Alhammarret's Archive play. And that will trigger the Diregraph Colossus, so we'll get a black zombie token. Diregraph now a 6/6, pretty good. 2/2 zombie into play tapped, also pretty good. And pass like that. So I feel like we rebuilt pretty good right there. Mana Crypt helps. Having a 4/4 turn into a 6/6, not too bad either. Bringing an extra body with it. Vance's Blasting Cannons coming in for the Pirate opponent. And a Pillar of Origins. Forerunner of the Coalition coming back to play. Ooh, an opponent flips over their Vance's Blasting Canyons. They can pay 3 to do 3 damage to any target. It's not bad. It's not bad. Definitely a lot of things that can get shot with that. Or at least there will be in a few turns. I don't know, though. Would you rather have it on the front side or the back? By having it flip over, you're definitely giving up a pretty good ability. Opponent gonna play a Faithless Looting, sure. Opponent discarded an Increasing Vengeance, makes sense, they can always flash it back. Here comes Ghave back to play. Opponent gonna recast their Lightning Greaves. Opponent gonna recast their Riku. Boots on the Riku. So I'm actually gonna use the Varina ability right here. We're gonna pay 2. And discard the, we're gonna exile this Nantuko Husk and the Anguished Unmaking. It's pretty hard for us to get that Anguished Unmaking back. There's only 1 card in our deck that does it. So we'll get 2/2 zombies, and that's really going to set up this Alhammarret's Archive. We're going to draw like crazy. So back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. Go tails. Lost the flip. Draw a Library of the Lang. Nice. So play the Alhammarret's Archive. Play Library of the Lang. Go to combat. Swing everything at the Riku. Varina will trigger. We draw 8 cards. We'll need to discard 4, and we can put any back on top of our library if we want to. A lot of lands in there. Discard the Polluted Delta. I guess also the Sea of Clouds. We'll get rid of this Vengeful Dead. And I guess 1 more land. We'll put this land back on the top of our library just to make sure it's there. And we gain some life. We're back up to 39. Opponent saying they're not seeing a lot of tempo loss for me after that Cyclonic Rift. Yeah, we recovered. Very good. Very quickly. Let's play the Command Tower. Play the Signet. Then play the Worn Power Stone. And we'll pass like that. So we put opponent down to 14. We're starting to hurt pretty good. And we're still at a nice healthy 39. Oh man, incidental life gain on your commander is just so good. On top of the fact that you're looting. And now we got this combo thing going with Alhammarret's Archive. Yeah. Opponent's going to need some removal on us. Blowing up the Alhammarret's is probably step 1, or getting rid of our creatures would also be pretty good. Opponent's going to play a Departed Deckhand. I'm going to send Varina to the graveyard, and then we'll F6. Hostage Shaker coming into play for our opponent. Bet that's... Ooh, going to steal our Alhammarret's Archive. All right. That's a step in the right direction. So Alhammarret's Archive down. Yeah, that's the big combo piece. But it already did some work. We have a land on top. Captain Lannery Storm back to play. Opponent going to attack into us with both, sure. No blocks. Fathom Fleet Captain back to play. Opponent keeps triggering that Forerunner, and we're down to 31. Riku down to 10. Other opponent Ghave at 20. Life total starting to get low, although Pirate opponent's still at 38. There's an Ashnod's Altar for the Ghave. Yep, that seems pretty good. They probably need to get some attention this turn. So they make a token. Ooh, opponent plays a Zulaport Cutthroat. That seems really good. That's in each opponent. Riku's in some trouble. A lot of ways for Riku to die. Is that infinite? Can opponent just kill us? I hope it isn't. Opponent plays a Doubling Season. Uh-oh. Alright. Yep. I'm gonna need to deal with that Ghave. Could they just go infinite with Ashnod's Altar, Ghave, and Zulaport? Oh no, because when you sacrifice the creature to get mana, it doesn't go back onto the Ghave. Okay. Progenitor Mimic for the Riku, sure. They copy the Hostage Taker. Ooh, they can make an extra copy of that. This might not be good. Gonna target our Diregraph Colossus with the Hostage Taker. Not ideal. And makes another Hostage Taker. Targeting Varina. Ouch. Alright. So we probably need to pop the Rise of the Dark Realms this turn. So it's gonna bring it back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. Let's go Tails. Won the flip. There's a Polluted Delta. Play the Polluted Delta. Play Rise of the Dark Realms. We'll sit on the other end as needed. Nice. Ooh, we get that Soul Warden into play. That's going to trigger so many times. Also, the Wayward Servant triggers a bunch. So, Riku down to 3. Unfortunately, we don't have any damage that we can send in that way. We only have 5 mana, and we need to leave the mana up for this other end. So, we're going to sit on the Shepherd of Rot, even though it would do so much damage. So, I think we're going to pass like that. We'll draw with the Crypt Breaker at the end step or before a board wipe. But a board wipe would be bad. Vengeful Dead. If our zombies start dying, opponents will also be losing life. Deadeye Plunderers. Interesting. That's a 7/7. That's pretty nice to have around. Also, the Scarab God's in play for us. So even if we just untap, if we untap with the Scarab God and all these zombies, opponents are going to be in some trouble. Ooh, opponent's going to shoot our Vengeful Dead. I guess we just let it go. If someone plays a board wipe, then we can use the Scarab God, and that will do good things. So each opponent loses 1 life. Riku down to 2. Opponent's going to Faithless Looting. Flash it back. Opponent's going to Dreadbore on one of the Hostage Takers. Makes me think that they might be trying to swing for lethal right here. Oh, Wayward Servant triggers. Why, I'm not sure. So at the end step, I think we need to shoot this Doubling Season. We'll get Prairie Stream. There's an Asceticism for our opponent. That's a pretty good one. Oh, I think I figured this out. If I sacrifice a Saproling and shoot the Zulaport Cutthroat, I think that kills the Riku player. Been trying to figure out a way to do that for a little while. I want to prevent them from untapping. They have 6 cards and blue mana. 6 cards and blue mana is scary. So I think if we... Oh, the Fungus isn't a Saproling. Sad face. Alright, well, it looks like they're getting an untap. So opponent does not get a Progenitor Mimic copy because the copy was a token. And Progenitor Mimic says if this creature is not a token, it'll copy something else. So a little bit of a sad face for the Riku player right there. Yep, opponent's got the Cyclonic Rift. Of course they do. Let's start tapping zombies. We get a land. Here's another land. And looks like we are out of zombies to tap. We could sacrifice an opponent's creature so they don't get it back. Sacrifice this Soul Warden. That thing seems like it can do a lot. So Cyclonic Rift goes off once again. Ugh. That card. Somebody banned that card. Like, I know I played it, but if it were banned, then I wouldn't have to, like, worry about do I play it or do I not. Ugh. Riku gonna swing into the Ghave opponent. Sure. Brings it back to our turn. There's a from under the floorboards. Fun. Play the Mana Crypt. Play the Diregraph Colossus. Ooh, we got our Alhammarret's Archive back. Play the Wayward Servant. That'll trigger the Diregraph Colossus. Play Graveborn Muse. And Riku is dead, finally. Was hoping to do that before the Cyclonic Rift came down. Makes me so sad. Play this Swamp. We're going to go without the High... I meant to play the Strip Mine. Well, it's okay. I'm going to play the Crypt Breaker. Play the Orzhov Signet. And I guess... meant to get the Library of the Lang in, but what can you do? We'll pass like that. We're up to 49. It's not too bad. Pillar of Origins coming back for our opponent. Hostage Taker coming back. Gets our Wayward Servant. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good one. It's an until it leaves the battlefield card. Opponent casts our Wayward Servant. Annoying. Here comes Forerunner of the Coalition. Sure. Ashnod's Altar coming into play. Psychotrope Thallid coming into play. A Deathspore Thallid coming into play. Brings it back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. And, ooh, Graveborn Muse. That's going to be a lot of draw with the Graveborn Muse. Let's go Tails. Lost the flip. We're losing some life right here, too. Down to 40. Oh, my. We just drew a lot of stuff. Fleshbag Marauder's pretty good. Living Death is also pretty cool. Scourge of Neltoth. That's our one dragon. It's a zombie dragon. Gotta have that. Not a lot of haste floating around our deck, though. Is a little bit concerning. Play Ancient Tomb. Tap Ancient Tomb. Mana Vault. Get Library of the Lang. That actually gives us no max hand size, which is nice. I'm going to stitch together on the Vengeful Dead. Vengeful Dead is back. Play the Fleshbag Marauder. Diregraph Colossus will trigger. Fleshbag enters. Everyone sacrifices a creature. We'll just get rid of a token. Vengeful Dead will trigger twice. Gonna take out the Ghave opponent right here. We also know that the pirate opponent doesn't really have removal because they were down to 1 card in hand before the Cyclonic Rift, so they've only drawn 1 time since then. They'll get 1 more draw after that. Feeling pretty good about what they have in their hand to be able to deal with our board state. And the Ghave opponent goes down. What do we follow up with? I guess we follow up with the Scarab God. That seems really good when you have a ton of zombies in play. Scarab God in... do we need Anointed Procession? I don't think we need Anointed Procession yet. We'll get the Shepherd of Rot. That can let us close the game out really quickly. Pass the turn. I mean, it basically has to be a board wipe for our opponent. And even then, Cyclonic Rift would be okay. That would slow us down. Although, all the Cyclonic Rifts we've hit so far haven't slowed us down all that much. Angarith could slow us down. It will at least get rid of the Shepherd of Rot, so opponent doesn't have to just straight die to that. Oh, they're gonna go for the Hostage Taker. Okay. Hostage Taker on our Scarab God. We will sacrifice our Scarab God. Power of High Market. That's a card that I've only started using in the past year or so, and man, it's so good. Preventing your stuff from getting stolen or exiled is really, really important. So, I mean, we basically wasted opponent's play right there. If they go the other way and just minus Angrath on us, we lose Crypt Breaker, we lose the Shepherd of Rot, we lose, a little bit with Fleshbag Marauder, but, there's some reasonably powerful abilities that we'd be losing, as opposed to just kind of blanking the Hostage Taker play that they went for. So, yeah, High Market, very, very good. But now opponent's going to have to deal with... Well, actually, no. So the Scarab God's out of play. Okay. So opponent won't just die to the Scarab God trigger. Scarab God will come back to our hand. It's nice that they fixed that. That was not working properly for a little while. Brings it back to our turn. Mana Vault, Graveborn Muse, and Mana Crypt trigger on us. Gonna be losing a lot more life right here. Let's go heads. Lost the flip. Not gonna pay for the Mana Vault. We are down to 20. Well, we're gonna be at 23. Whew, that's scary. Alhammarets is in play. Oh my god, there's so many things. Okay, I think I got it. So cast our commander. We will use this Empty the Pits, exile a bunch of stuff. We get 6 more zombies. Attack like that. Varina will trigger. We'll draw a double and gain double. We need to discard 8 cards. Let's just go for all the lands. That thing. Discard like that. Let this attack go through. We're up to 37. Nice. So we're out of range of our Shepherd of Rot. So opponent declares their blocks. We'll use the Shepherd of Rot before the zombies start going down. Opponent's down to 4, and this should do it. Down they go! The White Walker's getting there. Preview of things to come for this season of Game of Thrones. I hope not. Wow, we drew a lot of cards. We had 15 cards left in our library. That's insane. Yeah, Alhammaret's Archive with Varina is insanely good. Like, just absurd. And this Library of the Lang, also pretty good. We can choose what we want to discard and no max hand size. Really good card. Probably needs to see more play than it does. It's a weird old card out of Alpha Beta Unlimited Revised and just doesn't see a lot of play. So take a quick look at my Varina deck. I started this list by looking at the Command Zone deck list, and I actually didn't care for it that much. It was really too heavy in the 3 converted mana cost slot, and I know there's a lot of good cards in that slot, but it just the curve was really unbalanced. Didn't have as much ramp as I liked, didn't have as much removal as I like. It was kind of more of a combo based deck, but it didn't actually have any storm cards. Like, it looked like it wanted to be Zombie Storm, but wasn't actually Zombie Storm. I don't know, it was kind of a weird looking list, so I changed it pretty significantly. I rounded out the curve in a way that I like the curve to look. Which is, we've got 12 3-drops, 12 4-drops, 9 5-drops, 7 6-drops. It might be a little bit heavy in the 5 and 6 slots, but it does give us some good late game punch. Though we are a little bit light on ramp for that many higher converted mana cost cards, I think. And then we taper off significantly as the deck gets more expensive. Just a couple nice finishing cards. Scourge of Nelthoth in there just for flavor reasons. So yeah, a little bit heavier in these 5 and 6 slots than I'd like it to be. Could probably cut 1 card from each. Would feel pretty good about that. Would feel even better if that card was a mana rock that was added in here somewhere. The deck's missing Thran Dynamo, actually, is a pretty good one to have, especially if you're trying to get to these bigger things. But all in all, a lot of familiar faces if you're used to playing a zombie deck. The main reasons to play Varina are you want to do stuff with Alhammaret's Archive, which is pretty good. You want access to white. Not a lot of white cards in the deck. Anointed Procession, I mean... honestly, I could probably cut Anointed Procession. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like it's doing that much. I would probably cut Anointed Procession, add a True Conviction. That seems like a nice little touch for the zombies. Give them double strike and get yourself some lifelink. Then you don't even need that many zombies to be lethal, so that's probably a reasonable way to go as well. Teferi's Protection, always kind of good. But yeah, that's the deck. It can be cleaned up just a teeny bit more, but I think it's in pretty good shape if this is a deck that you're wanting to check out. Anyway, yeah, feeling pretty good about this Varina deck. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.